Play the piano? Here? You must be joking." Olivia's laughter echoed through the ballroom, dripping with mockery. The room held its breath as Marcus, the quiet cleaner, sat at the grand piano. Then his fingers danced, pouring out a melody that shattered every expectation. Silence fell. Eyes widened. Whispers grew. The billionaire girl's world tilted as the invisible man revealed a talent no one expected. This is the story of a privileged girl's challenge and the cleaner who rewrote the rules with music. If this pulled you in, comment your city below and hit like to keep the stories alive. Welcome, story lovers. Where are you watching from? Drop your city name in the comments. It was a sparkling evening inside the grand ballroom of the Harrington estate. Crystal chandeliers cast a warm glow over impeccably dressed guests, sipping champagne and exchanging polite smiles. At the heart of the room stood Olivia Harrington, the daughter of one of the wealthiest men in the country. With her designer, gown shimmering under the lights and her confident, playful laugh ringing out, Olivia was the epitome of privilege and power. Growing up in a world where everything was handed to her, Olivia's life was a series of luxurious parties, exclusive, schools, and endless admirers. Yet beneath the surface was a sharp edge to her, a fearless spirit that loved to tease and challenge those she deemed beneath her social circle. Tonight's game was no different. With a sly smile, she told one of her closest friends, "Play the piano for me and I'll marry you." It was a joke, but one loaded with the arrogance of someone who believed everything was hers to command. Meanwhile, unnoticed by the glittering crowd, a quiet figure moved silently across the room. Marcus, the estate's cleaner, was a man whose presence was often overlooked. With a gentle demeanor and weathered hands, he quietly went about his work, cleaning spilled drinks and straightening chairs. But Marcus carried a secret that even Olivia, with all her worldly experience, could never have guessed. As the guests laughed and danced, the stage was unknowingly set for a moment that would shatter illusions and challenge the foundations of power and prejudice. Olivia's world was about to be turned upside down by the last person she expected. The evening wore on, the music flowing like a river through the grand hall. Olivia's eyes sparkled with mischief as she approached the grand piano, a gleaming white instrument perched near the wall. Her voice floated above the chatter. "Who will play for me? Come on, don't be shy." Her words were light, but the challenge was clear. Guests looked around, some amused, others embarrassed, but none dared to proceed. Olivia's laughter grew louder, a sound both playful and cutting. "Maybe no one here has the talent," she teased, scanning the room with a haughty glance. That's when Marcus, the cleaner, who had just finished wiping a nearby table, hesitated. The room was filled with polished faces and whispered judgments. He was just a man in a uniform, invisible to most. Yet something inside him stirred. He approached the piano with the steady calm of someone who had lived a lifetime in silence. A hush fell over the crowd. The millionaire girl's laughter faded as she watched the humble cleaner sit at the keys. His fingers hovered for a moment, then began to play, a melody so rich and soulful it seemed to pull at the very air. The room changed. The glittering crowd, which had been mocking and aloof moments before, was spellbound, but Olivia's surprise quickly hardened into disbelief, then irritation. How dare this man, this invisible cleaner, steal the spotlight? Her eyes narrowed as murmurs grew into whispers of disbelief. Some guests shifted uncomfortably, unsure whether to applaud or turn away. Determined not to lose face, Olivia's voice cut through the music, sharp and biting. "Well, that was unexpected. But don't think this means anything." She stood tall, arms crossed, the queen of her domain, unwilling to accept that her joke had turned into something real, something powerful. Marcus played on, his music speaking a truth that words could not. The melody was not just notes, but a story of resilience, of silent strength in the face of judgment. The room held its breath as the final chord echoed. Olivia's mask cracked. The laughter was gone. She felt the sting of an unspoken truth. Privilege did not equal talent or status, guarantee respect. In that moment, the invisible man had been seen by everyone. The music stopped. Silence, heavy and charged, filled the room. Olivia's sharp gaze locked onto Marcus, the man who had dared to defy her unspoken rules. For a heartbeat, the world seemed to pause. Then came the murmurs, the hesitant applause growing louder, swelling into genuine appreciation. The guests, once so sure of their social order, were forced to confront the uncomfortable reality that they had underestimated a man based on the color of his skin and the role he played in their world. Olivia's pride fought back, but the moment's weight crushed her arrogance. Marcus stood, not with defiance but quiet dignity. No grand speech, no demand for recognition, just a man owning his moment. The billionaire girl, whose laughter had once been sharp and mocking, now felt something. Unfamiliar, humiliation, yes, but also awe. The gap between them wasn't just money or status anymore. It was a revelation that talent, courage, and worth come from places far beyond the surface. As Marcus returned to work, the room buzzing with whispered respect and changed eyes, Olivia's heart raced. What she thought was a game had become a lesson she would never forget. Days passed, and the story of that night spread quietly through the circles of the elite. Marcus, the cleaner with the hidden talent, had become more than a background figure. Invitations arrived for him to perform in places he had only dreamed of. Doors that once stayed shut now opened with respect. Once untouched by the realities beyond her privileged bubble, Olivia found herself changed. The laughter that had filled the grand halls was replaced by reflection, a slow awakening to the truths she had ignored. The invisible barriers of race and class were real, and her role in perpetuating them was undeniable. But Marcus's story was not just about one night or one girl's transformation. It was about the countless others whose gifts go unseen, whose voices are drowned beneath the noise of prejudice. It was a reminder that talent, dignity, and worth are not confined to wealth or status. The question lingered long after the music faded. How many hidden stories like Marcus's remain silent? How many brilliant lives are overlooked by skin color, job title, or social standing? This wasn't just Marcus's victory. It was a call to see beyond the surface, to challenge the judgments that divide us, and to recognize the humanity in everyone. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel for more powerful stories and new videos.